We now come to our main presentation. Our call to action is backed by real solutions and technologies proven to be commercially ready. Today, we introduce one of our private sector partners, Global Otec, headed by Mr. Dan Grech from the United Kingdom, a young innovative entrepreneur who, along with his equally innovative partners, has developed the concept for the first floating Otec platform. SIDSDOC and Global Otec signed a Memorandum of Understanding in July 2021, establishing a framework for close cooperation to develop and deploy a floating ocean thermal energy conversion technology concept. The concept is based on Global Otec Resources Solutions and will work in a sustainable, effective, and efficient manner in SIDS. We also agreed to cooperate in developing a funding proposal for the construction, installation, and operation of the first floating Otec power plant in partnership with the government of the Democratic Republic of Sao Tome and Príncipe. I now invite Mr. Grech to deliver his remarks. Mr. Grech, you may take the floor.
Heads of state and government, distinguished ministers, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chairman, it is a distinct honor for me on behalf of Global Otec, our directors, investors and supporters to extend thanks to the SIDSDOC organization, its heads of state and government, and significantly, the Democratic Republic of Sao Tome and Príncipe, and in particular, the Honorable Dr. Jorge Lopez Bonjesus, Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Sao Tome and Príncipe, for opening the global ocean energy frontier, where small island developing states and coastal cities are major stewards to begin the development and deployment of ocean energy technologies. As the founder and chief executive officer of Global Otec, I'm honored to be part of a team that created a United Kingdom-based company leading the development of cutting-edge floating Otec platforms. I too live on an island, Great Britain, the largest island in Europe and the 9th largest island in the world. As a dual national of the United Kingdom and Malta, you could say that I have the blood of two small islands inside of me, and I'm familiar with island challenges, increasingly so as a United Kingdom resident. Many of you have probably heard that COP26 will be a historic event, and that this year the goal is to prove that countries take their priorities seriously and are working on issues. Led by the decision of heads of state and government, of islands and coastal cities, a group of partners decided that today is indeed a historic day for islands and coastal cities. Today is a momentous occasion for islands and coastal cities, opening a new era of clean ocean energy to meet the net zero emissions requirements and energy security desperately needed for islands and coastal cities. Speaking of this historic day, I'm pleased to publicly announce that effective immediately, Potential Climate Ventures, a UK company led by Mr. Pete Denny, has agreed to lead our funding requirements for our holding company's participation in this project for our seed round. As the Honourable Mr. John Bringeno, Prime Minister of Belize, mentioned in his statement, SIDS must replace 10,000 megawatts of aging fossil fuel generators over the next decade. Global Otec and its investors has assessed that a huge commercial opportunity exists, displacing fossil fuels with ocean energy, which can provide strong long-term returns for investors. For nearly 10 years since the Barbados Declaration on achieving sustainable energy for all in small island developing states, SIDS have been calling for collective action to drive the development of SIDS appropriate technologies. This is to ensure the realization of the benefits of their largest renewable energy resource. For islands and coastal cities, they see the development and deployment of the first floating Otec platform as the first step towards a more resilient future. Whilst we have seen major efforts by some partners to consider developing and deploying small-scale technologies, I think we're yet to see the single implementation of a truly SIDS-appropriate technology. How can a renewable technology be SIDS-appropriate unless it harnesses the vast resource of ocean thermal energy which islands reside in? For generations, SIDS have known that there exists this untapped battery of solar heat energy that can be the answer to the island's water, food, energy nexus, capable of catalyzing sustainable development and liberating SIDS from crippling diesel imports. They also know, and we in Global Otec have found this to be true, that the private sector is seen as an important stakeholder. We also know that SIDS are not in the business of pointing fingers. They want solutions, and they needed them yesterday. With the Samoa pathway, partnerships have replaced pointing fingers. The Small Island Developing States Accelerated Modalities of Action, or Samoa Pathway, presents the agreed outcomes of the 3rd UN International Conference for Small Island Developing States, held in Samoa in September 2014. It articulates the sustainable development pathways and aspirations for SIDS over the next decade. Ocean thermal energy conversion is a direct response to islands' needs. This is not a piecemeal experiment. The effectiveness of the individual components have been proven, and demonstration plants are in operation around the world, grid connected with power generation capacities up to 100 kilowatts. Global Otec and its private investors have been given the green light to collaborate with islands and coastal cities to develop and deploy UK technology, the floating Otec platform, using the dominant form of energy generation around the world today. Mr. Chairman, one of the shocking things that new investors to Otec realize once informed is that ocean thermal energy conversion technology has been around since 1881, 140 years ago. A technology first proposed by French physicist Jacques Darsenval, who proposed the first practical design for harnessing this energy. 50 years later, Jacques Darsenval's student, George Claude, installed his concept in Cuba, but it was wiped out by a hurricane. Energy from ocean heat is not new, my friends. It's been around just as long as the first proposed commercial oil field. Even the US, a world-renowned oil giant, has legislated for Otec. And in 1979, the Ocean Thermal Energy Act was passed into law by President Jimmy Carter. This coincided with a shift in Otec innovation from the French pioneers to Hawaii and to Japan. Over the following decades, several Otec pilot plants were deployed, some temporary, others destroyed by hurricanes. However, 2 significant installations still exist today in Kumajima Island, Japan, and Hawaii, USA. They provide a multi-year track record for the efficiency of a closed-cycle Otec plant in a relevant environment. Since 2009, global investment in Otec research and development has surpassed $100 million. According to a recent International Energy Agency report on Otec, we are now at the stage there is no doubt around the technical feasibility of a 10 megawatt floating Otec plant. This point made by the IEA, as well as points made by development banks in Asia, Africa, the Caribbean, as well as by the United States government, Energy Department, National Renewable Energy Laboratory, supports and validates Global Otec's findings from the last 5 years. Cast your mind back to a few years ago when naysayers dismissed renewables such as solar and wind as being uneconomical. We now know how wrong they were. With this in mind, we run an extremely high risk of dismissing the vast potential of ocean energy today, knowing the rapid rate of depletion of non-renewable energy sources indicates that the world's future source of energy will reside in the oceans. Solar and wind have made fantastic progress, but they are only available when the sun shines or the wind blows, and mass energy storage is still a challenge. And for SIDS, they've simply run out of land. But now there is an immediate need to underpin our grids with clean, affordable baseload power, which does not encroach on precious land. Over the last 5 years, a team of former oil and gas engineers and Otec technicians have designed a series of floating Otec platform concepts. This was not blue sky thinking. The floating Otec platform concepts are a result of decades of R&D and deployments across both Otec demonstration facilities and offshore oil and gas. The understandable thing about our floating Otec platform is that it operates like a traditional oil platform. The difference is that we are pumping ocean water, not oil. This is the defining and innovative feature that separates Otec technology. It provides clean, environmentally friendly energy and baseload power all of the time. Our Otec platform needs two crucial elements to function effectively. One, access to a large source of warm and cold water. Two, a reasonable transmission distance to shore. These criteria should come as no surprise that this is available across nearly every SIDS. Next slide, please, Blondell. But why? Why are we starting in Sao Tome and Príncipe? Simply put, because the empirical evidence shows that Sao Tome and Príncipe has the most ideal conditions in the world for an Otec pilot project. Our research shows that the sun heats the top layer of seawater around Sao Tome to around 27 degrees all year round. But below the surface, that seawater cools rapidly. By 800 meters, it's close to freezing. A warm summer day temperature on top to a cold and wintry one in less than a kilometer. Next, we need a favorable transmission distance to shore. The island of Sao Tome is surrounded by deep water with negligible distances for cable transmission. Now, this is where the twin island of Sao Tome and Príncipe is separated from all others. Sao Tome and Príncipe is uniquely positioned outside of hurricane and typhoon zones, which, as mentioned earlier, has caused setbacks for decades in Otec development. Islands simply cannot afford another setback to Otec at the hands of storms, hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones. Sao Tome and Príncipe has 30 megawatts of installed fossil fuel capacity, which is aging, underperforming, and needs replacing. How can Sao Tome and Príncipe justify investing in brand new, efficient diesel generators and meet their nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement? Sao Tome and Príncipe is the Galapagos of Africa, with the highest concentration of endemic species found anywhere in the world. The government and the people of Sao Tome and Príncipe are no longer willing to sacrifice this biodiversity for some incremental gains with solar. Instead, they have decided to capitalize on the aggressive development and deployment of ocean energy resources through a public-private partnership. This public-private partnership involves the SIDS institutional partner, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, which through a grant to SIDS is partially supporting the site assessment. The private sector as major funders. In the coming months, Global Otec will complete the assessment of the meteorological, geological, and thermographic properties around Sao Tome. This will inform a technically, economically, environmentally, and socially sound proposal to the government of Sao Tome and Príncipe, and set us on course to setting out a power purchase agreement, opening doors with both multilaterals and impact investors to continue executing this project. And this is where I would like to pause, to share with like-minded investors the single most important value that got Global Otec to this point is partnerships. If you have not taken the time to develop a relationship with all of your partners, you'll find it difficult, not impossible, to obtain accurate, robust, critical information to inform your assessment, studies, analyses, and any kind of information that can provide project and investment validation. Sao Tome is our case study to the rest of the world that Otec can generate commercial returns and is technically feasible. And it is only through partnerships that we can realise its full potential through mass scaling up across islands and coastal cities. But São Tomé and Príncipe is just the starting point, not the final destination, as almost all SIDS have Otec potential. Recognising that 10,000 megawatts of installed fossil fuel capacity which needs to be replaced across the SIDS, our collective ambition is to prove that 50% of this green, clean, baseload power can be derived from ocean energy and with Otec technology. I too encourage you to join the Global Ocean Energy Alliance. For those SIDS and coastal cities currently sitting on pre-feasibility studies or those contemplating Otec, the organisation that you created, the SIDS Doc, this is your high-level, fast-track, red tape removal route that can make your country the next destination for a floating Otec platform, with São Tomé and Príncipe set to be the shining example. I now know that the Secretariat of SIDSDOC and its partners provide support in enabling its members to develop the appropriate Otec policies, regulations, and frameworks as part of national energy policies. With this collective vision, we will work together, bringing the ultimate energy security, as well as contributing to food security, provision of fresh water, but most of all, fossil fuel independence. To the developed world, the Global Ocean Energy Alliance cannot be successful without you. This alliance needs you, and the SIDS welcome you. Please answer their call to action for ocean energy for resilient economies. We already know it's a matter of survival today for islands and coastal cities, who will be the first to collapse and go under at the ferocity of the changing climate. Failure to help SIDS and coastal cities sends a dark message to their people, who, by the way, are still reeling from the COVID-19 pandemic, the lack of vaccines, and the economic fallout. Collectively, we can change that message. The establishment of the Global Ocean Energy Alliance is a means to that end. If we can help save the islands and increase their resilience, then the technology and measures tried, tested, and proven there will have a track record to be scaled up and protect a much greater number. Wherever you are in the world, and if you're listening today, you have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be an ocean energy pioneer. At the end of the day, and the bottom line, we need to remind ourselves that it is about the most vulnerable people to the impact of climate change and sea level rise. It's about their livelihoods, their future, and that of their children, something that we all want and should want for each other. Thank you.
I thank Mr. Grech for his presentation and commend him for his tenacity to bring this critical technology to SIDS, LDCs, and coastal cities. So we have heard from our leaders in their call to action, the why and the need for ocean energy for resilient economies and the establishment of the Global Energy Alliance. We have presented two workable, deployable, and commercially viable solutions, the Kumejima model and the Otec floating platform.